morning YouTubers. Today's video we're going to be going from Berkhamsted up to Cowroast, which is the summit of the Grand Union Canal at this end. I've got to go through 10 locks single-handed, so wish me luck. There's a bit of luck. As soon as I'm going to pull away, there's another boater coming along, and we'll be able to share the locks and half the workload. I think I'm turning into a lazy old sod. There's a few canal side pubs down this stretch. I just spent 2 weeks moored opposite one called the Ball, and you've got the Rising Sun here, which the lock's named after, and a few more still to come. This is Pete, who I'm going to be doing the first 3 locks with.
I'll get the other one open.
I've already fell in love with his little boat. Can't be no longer than 30 feet, but it's got everything he needs to live on, and it's so easy to manoeuvre. I've just had another little touch. There's someone waiting to come in the lock, which saves me closing it up. I don't know how long this luck's going to last. Knowing me, not very long. I've really enjoyed my stay in Berkhamsted. That's why I've stayed here for 2 weeks. Nice little atmosphere and very pretty. There's another pub here on the right hand side called the Boat, which has got a lot of outside dining areas. Beautiful. And I like the way that the town has made a feature of the canal. Just look at this bridge, the work that's gone into it. Pete's already in the lock waiting for me. We're flying through these locks. Pete's gone up to the next one, and I'm going to close this one up and meet him up there. I'm going to pull Aitch through by hand and quickly run back and shut the gate, and then jump back on Aitch before he floats away. It's not often nowadays that I go through a town and say how pretty it is. It's not an opulent area, I would say more quaint. Look at me coming out with all these big words, but I think you know what I mean. Just have a look. There's another pub behind those trees on the right, but it's closed, it's having work done. This is actually a real totem pole, which was imported from Canada. It used to mark where there was a timber yard before it was developed around here. That's an unusual name for a boat. Ugh. I started off about 7 o'clock this morning, which is early for me. And the sun is still low, but it looks like we're in for quite a nice day. Once again, you can see the effort that the town's put into the bridges and the way the canal looks, how they've made this bridge look. It's lovely, isn't it? This is the last lock that I'm going to do with Pete, because he's going to moor up after this one. Alright, nice to meet you anyway.
Too good to take care of. See you again, actually.
Yeah, I might see you up there.
Yeah.
The speed I go along. Really nice chap. I hope I do bump into him again. And I don't say that often. We've been going uphill in these locks for quite a while now, going through the Chilterns. Not that I've seen much of the Chiltern Hills, but when we get to Cowroast, we'll be going downhill. David Attenborough, he's got nothing on me. Nice looking picnic areas to the right. The masts on that boat are useless for going under bridges, but they're fantastic for hanging out your washing. You've got to get your priorities right. Just to the left over that bridge there's a Waitrose supermarket, which is a bit out of my league price wise anyway.
Morning.
Nice colour. We're coming up to a pair of locks that are very close together, called Gas Lock 1 and Gas Lock 2. There's a very short pound between these two locks, and I'm hoping that the water level is not too low, but we'll see. This is lock number 4 of the day so far. I've got another 6 to go after this one. Looking at the pound, I thought we might have got away with it, but we're scraping along the bottom, even coming out of the lock. Looks like I'm going to have to jump off the boat where I can, close these lock gates, and then go up to the other lock, see if I can trickle some water down, at least enough so that I can float up to the lock. Don't want to put too much water in this pound, or else all the other boats that are in the above pound will start grounding. That's my thinking anyway. Just come back to the boat and I've seen someone playing about with a lock up there. I'm wondering what they're doing. Hopefully I've trickled enough water into this pound now that I can at least get to the other lock. I'm still scraping the bottom here and there, but it's a lot better. And that other fella that I was talking about is going to close the lock gate for me. You going alright?
Yeah.
Bit low there.
That's alright, mate. You've done the right thing. One and one, perfect. By the time you enter the lockdown, the lock you're in, that'll be fine. But that's what I'm saying, mate.
That fella wasn't bringing a boat in of his own, and when I asked who he was, he said he works on the canals. And when I looked round, he'd walked across the lock and disappeared. He wasn't from CRT, so it's all a bit of a mystery, but it all worked out in the end. The reason why I'm going through 10 locks to Cowroast today is Cowroast has got a service point where I can fill up with water and empty my toilet cassettes, which I need to badly. I won't lie to you all about all these locks, but I'll be really glad when I get onto a stretch of canal where I can relax and just cruise for an hour or so. That's the 6th lock of the day done. Yeah, I don't want to come across as spoilt, moaning about doing all these locks, but I'm just being honest. It's not that bad. We're coming up to another one the other side of the bridge. And there's somebody here going to help me out. Someone's coming in. The young lady's just said to me, go back to the boat and her husband will sort the lock out. which is nice. They're opening both lock gates because they've got a wide beam to bring in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm not used to all that bolt treatment. See you later. Only lock looks like it's with a top.
Right, we're well on our way to Cowroast now. The meaning of the name Cowroast is nothing like what it sounds. Back in history, they used to drove the cows down from the Midlands and the North into London, and Cowroast was a place where they used to actually rest the cattle on the way down. The actual name was Cow Rest, and over the years it morphed to Cowroast. So all them lovely pictures that you get in your mind of roast beef or barbecues, it's all wrong. It's actually where they used to rest the cattle. Looks like we've got another lock coming up. Surprise, surprise. This little area looks nice. Very picturesque. I wonder what the other side of the bridge looks like. There's some nice old cottages. We'll have a little look around, shall we? Like a lot of the lock gates up here, they're covered in vegetation. Another boat's just turned up and they're going to give me a hand, which is all very nice and helpful.
What's strange going on here?
The boat's acting really weird and making a lot of noise. I've definitely got something wrapped around the prop.
Yeah, I've got something wrapped around the prop.
I'm going to try and limp Aitch out of this lock so these people can use it, and then tie up on one of the bollards down there and get down the weed hatch, see what's happening.
Something around the prop. Yeah, it feels big, whatever it is, it's knocking. Hopefully I'll be able to get behind that boat up there. Thank you.
Dog's even telling me to pull over. because being a bit of an old dog, I can understand their language. Let's have a look down there. You see a bit of rope. We'll soon see what it is. There's the culprit. An old rope fender. That feels a lot better. That's two little problems I've had to get through today. But that's narrowboat life. You're going to come up against that all the time. So if there's anyone out there that's thinking about getting a narrowboat, you'll find that that's quite a common occurrence. And you've got to be prepared for little things like that to happen. That's another lock done. We must be getting close to Cowroast now. Just had a look at the guidebook, and the next lock is Cowroast lock, the one that I've been aiming for with all the services. Just going to ask this fellow over here on the right if the L-SAN is this side of the lock or the other side. And someone on this grey boat here on the right called Otter poked their head out of the duck hatch and said they watched the channel.
Mate. Is there anything else on this side of the lock?
I would have loved to have had a chat with him, but I'm the world's worst multitasker. If I take my eyes off of the canal for 2 seconds, I'm going sideways. It's getting a bit tight up here.
You're going alright. What's that? Oh, you're black for paint. I have to concentrate what I'm doing. I'm going on.
So if you're watching this one, I wasn't being rude, I'm just a bit useless at doing two things at once. I would love to have a chat with you. Right, we're coming up to the last lock of the day, Cowroast lock. And I found out that the L-SAN point is on the lock and the water point is just past the lock. This is the last lock that I'll be going up in. All the rest for a while will be going down, which is easier for a solo boater. That's where you get rid of the rubbish and empty the L-SANs. And up there just past the lock is the water point. Like I've said before, if you're thinking of subscribing to my channel, don't do it just yet. Watch a few of the other videos to make sure you like it, and then, if you do, subscribe. I think we'll call it a day on this one. So thank you ever so much for coming along with me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time.